Good afternoon, family, and welcome back to GodSpeed, where we provide you a weekly market overview for the Lexus LC500. Family, the market has some really exciting options for us this week. We've got a sub $60,000 2018 with average miles, probably the lowest price 2020 with high miles, but it's got a clean Carfax One owner, and our first $67,000 2021 hardtop sports package of the year. And for anyone who's looking for that majestic 2024 Ultimate Edition convertible, we'll be reviewing an amazing option being offered by Lexus of Lehigh Valley in Pennsylvania. All right, family, let's get into tonight's episode. But before we do, I greatly appreciate your support. Please do subscribe to the channel. We got a tremendous episode for tonight because honestly, we do have some really solid options here. Okay, so let's start to get into these right now. First up is this 2018. Let me back this up a little bit because I want to make sure we get the right photos here. We got this beautiful 2018 coming from Maserati of Atlanta, right, family? This is obviously that ultra white exterior. This one, if I'm not, actually, this one's got the black interior. But man, let's look at these pictures for a minute because there's a few things going on here, right, that we got to take consideration of. Number one, we obviously have the red calipers done on this one. This is a sports package, right? So you're going to get the 21-inch wheels. You're not going to get retractable spoiler or carbon fiber top, unless by some chance this one has a carbon fiber top on it. But let's talk about a few of the things that's been customized on it, right? It's showing really clean. Obviously, it's on the inside underneath those lights, but even with that being considered, right, I mean, we've got the red calipers done, which that's about a $1,200 upgrade option. So, you know, just keep in mind, there's a little bit more process and work that goes into changing the color out on these LC500s, because unlike some calipers, or at least I should say most of the other calipers on the Lexus vehicles, these come actually painted black already. So when it's already got a black on there, you have to take that paint off and do all this other stuff. So you're looking at about a $1,200 investment just on those red calipers, which I think pop. I mean, I love it. I know it's traditional, but I think the red pop, right? A couple other things you can see here too, right, is that this individual has done some blackout to the grille, as well as the grille surround, and to the headlight covers up here. So this is a very popular update back in the day. You know, don't see too many people doing it as much today. I don't know if that's because, you know, either they had some challenges with the vinyl, but I highly doubt that, right? I just think it's a costly update, and some people just don't see the value in needing to do that, right? The other pieces we've got here is the tint, which obviously, you know, if that's ceramic tint, that's going to run you roughly about $750 to $1,000. This person's also probably did a vinyl on the katana blades up here. Excuse me, guys, which I really like, because with the tint and the black components that are already on the top of the car, it really does kind of insinuate that stripe right there, right? And it really gives it a beautiful pillow-esque, or I'm sorry, silhouette-esque look to the vehicle, right? You can also see here too that the individual has blacked out the back tail lights, which is very, very nice, right? They've also debadged it, and it looks like they've blacked out everything too, with the exception of the exhaust, the chrome exhaust pieces right here, right? So, you know, I remember when I was looking at doing this to my vehicle, right? I mean, I got quoted about $1,500, but it wasn't to do all the tail lights. So, you know, it's hard to tell from the pictures if this has been vinyl wrapped or if this has been painted. Either way, right, vinyl wrapped, I don't have any experience on the painting side of house, but I would assume that's going to be more expensive. But the vinyl piece of it, right, you're looking at anywhere between $1,500, $2,000 on that. You know, again, that's in a market that probably was about, you know, a year ago. So pricing could have went up, more than likely it has, right? But I just want to I want to kind of call out that this car, and actually they're very tasteful, right? These are very tasteful and highly sought after, you know, mods, right? So basically we've kind of de-chromed, You know what I'm saying? We've taken the chrome and blacked out all of the chrome aspects of this vehicle, and we've debadged it, right? All tasteful, you know, OEM rims. We've got, looks like some red calipers, and I think all this stuff is very tasteful. But that's a lot of value in this car already, and there's a better shot of this. I think the two pieces you want to look at, it looks like this grille is black, has been painted, and it'll be interesting to see if the surround here has been painted as well. Those are things that I would say definitely take a look at all of those customized options that I just mentioned, and be a little, you know, scrutinous on, you know, how they're holding up. Okay. But I will say this, they look really good. Another thing I'm noticing here really quickly before we move on is there is a chrome piece right here underneath the side view mirrors right there. They've blacked that out too, right? Again, can't hold anything away from this. As long as this vinyl / paint has held up, guys, I think this thing probably shows amazingly in person. Okay. All right, let's take a couple other looks at things. Everything's, you know, looks to be stock OEM underneath the hood. Same thing for the boot. And then of course we've got that black interior. This is the sports package. So you got the sports seats with the sports with the black Alcantara right there. It's got the all-weather mats. Personally, I think, you know, this probably would look better. Either we need to recondition these all-weather mats, or we need to just get the black carpeted mats. I think the black carpeted mats will set this interior off. It'll just keep everything, you know, from that smooth fabric perspective, right? But everything looks good on the interior. I was trying to see if they're going to show a picture of, looks like the Alcantara. Take a look at this Alcantara right here. Sometimes it's hard to get a good picture of the darker Alcantara. So I don't know if this is wear or if this is just a photo, but definitely do take a look at that when you go look at this in person, if you do, right? Little bit of cracks on the black, but again, I think, you know, we can restore this stuff if you go through all of your cleaning, conditioning, and replenishing steps. I don't know how much it's going to reduce some of those cracks, but what I will say is that, let's face it, fam, black unfortunately is going to show a little bit more. And there's that glass top, right? So it just confirms we do not have a carbon fiber top. Right. Everything else looks pretty good on this one from a visual perspective. Let's take a quick look at the deets on this one. So 58,340 miles. Family, that's absolutely in the average range. I mean, a 6-year-old vehicle. If we had 10,000 miles on this car every year, you'd be right under the average miles on that one, right? You know, the interesting thing is that, you know, when we started this conversation, you know, back in early 23, you know, we were trying to see miles that were around the 35,000 mile range. Later, as we got into the year, we started calling average, you know, more into that, you know, 40 to, you know, 60, 70,000 miles. And, you know, it's interesting to see that now that we've crept into 2024, we just have to kind of realign expectations for even what a low mileage 2018 option is going to have on it, right? Okay, we've got what else we got here? Clean title, 0 accidents, 3 previous owners. You know, the 3 previous owners is probably one more than I would like to see, but the fact that we have 0 accidents, sorry guys, is going to absolutely give me some leverage on the 3 owner piece, right? I mean, it is 6 years. You know, we all know, if you've been looking at the LC500 market, is that, listen, people buy them, enjoy them, and then they move on sometimes, right? Sometimes people keep them for a lifetime. Okay, this one's been 5 days at the dealership. And guys, this one's coming in at $57,990. So showing a fair deal with probably a couple $100 off of the average market price, which is $58,000 on this one. I think, honestly, you know, I'm going in there and I'm not looking to pay market value, or at least asking price for this one. I'm definitely taking a look at the tires. Let's make sure, right? And please turn that tire, because what we're learning as we start to explore and understand, you know, the wear and tear on these tires is that sometimes, because of the way the camber's set up on these cars, they will wear in the middle. So if you just run your finger across that outer ridge, you might be like, oh, this thing's got a lot of meat on it. Make sure you do that turn on the front and get a full, you know, inspection of the tire from length to length. All right. Look at the rears as well, because let's face it, that's the ones that are going to probably wear the most. And of course, because these are staggered fitment, you're not going to be able to rotate on these. Okay. So definitely look at that. And, you know, I think partner with these guys out here at Maserati of Atlanta, right? I mean, I would like to see this. I mean, personally, if you happen to come across the tires are, you know, either new or in newer condition, I'm going to obviously, and all of this vinyl stuff looks to be really good. Take a look at the calipers and make sure that you don't have any chip marks on that. Do a close inspection of, you know, well, honestly, I'm taking this to Lexus to let them do an inspection on it. And then when I get that spec sheet back, if I don't see anything that's alarming, I would personally like to get this one in 56. If I could get this for 56 flat, man, I'm riding out with a good day and a full tank of gas. All right. Okay, family, that is our 2018 option of the week. If you guys are looking for an ultra white exterior, a black interior, and some tasteful mods at a starting negotiation price of $57,000, absolutely take a look at Maserati of Atlanta. And I always love seeing family 5-star dealer ratings. Okay. All right, now next up is this amazing 2020 option, right? Family, we've got this one in that Caviar exterior. The interior on this one I'll get to in just a moment. But a couple things I want to call out here, right, is that we've got what I'm thinking is OEM blacked out wheels on this one, right? I'd have to take a quick look and see if 2021 or 2020 is when the dealership started to do these in a black option, okay? This is absolutely a performance package, right? Which is, gosh, I mean, that is tremendous to see. I'm also looking at the meat on these tires, fam. I mean, this looks really new, right? So I'm gonna see if we get a better picture of those, right? But we are talking about a 2020 performance package. You got your retractable spoiler back there. You're going to have the carbon fiber top. You got the tint already on this one, right? You're going to have your carbon fiber scuffs. This one's got the toasted caramel. There's our carbon fiber scuffs, which look to be in really good shape as well, at least from this angle. Toasted caramel looking good. Guys, I don't know if that is a photo piece right there, but take a quick look at that. You know, these lighter interiors sometimes are going to have an ability to fade, right? I'm also seeing a little bit down here on the floor mats, right? So make sure you're inspecting these lighter interiors, right? Because sometimes they might not show as many cracks as the darker interiors, but they might show some wears of fading, okay? So you just want to be aware of what you're getting into here, okay? But let's see what else we got here, right? I mean, you know, I think some of this stuff right here looks, you know, could have been taken better care of, but guys, I think if we put some full TLC on this bad boy, I think you're going to be able to get back, you know what I'm saying, all of your, get all these little crevices, right? That's something that a new owner, who really, admires this vehicle is going to be able to take the time to get this thing 100% detailed and get it looking the way they want to. What I don't see, right, so far is I don't see any scratches, right? I don't see any oxidation in this glass piece right here. Don't see any scratches right here on this material, right? Obviously, the 2020 is going to have all of your, Apple CarPlay, all of your Android Auto and Siri. Okay, let's talk about the deets on this one, right, guys? Really excited about this one. So let's get it out out of the way immediately. 71,000 miles for a 2020 is well over 30,000 miles over what an average would be, right? But let's keep things in perspective, because let's face it, guys, nothing's ever perfect, right? If we want a lower price, then guess what? We're going to have to be a little bit more flexible on mileage, okay? And sometimes, any accidents, okay? So let's continue to look at this one, right? But 71,000 miles, I mean, it's not the end of the world for a 2020, right? We've seen 71,000 miles on 2018s, okay? But we've got a clean title, 0 accidents, and a 1 owner. Now, let me rant just a few seconds about this. 71,000 miles, I get it. We don't like that. We don't love it, okay? I won't say we don't like it. Let's say we don't love it, right? But what we do love is 0 accidents and 1 previous owner, because that means that, listen, you know what? This person just enjoyed the car. They drove it. They enjoyed it. There may be some signs of wear on there. Absolutely take this to the Lexus dealership. Who is this actually being provided from? Yep, South Point Hyundai. Okay, definitely take this to the Lexus dealership. Let them look it through, right? Because I don't expect Hyundai to condition this like a Lexus dealership would. With that being said, it looks like somebody put some brand new tires on there, and we already know that's about $2,000 to $3,000 right there. If they hit you for an alignment, it's even more. So I'd get this over to the Lexus dealership, pay $200, let them look this thing through, 220 point inspection end to end. Let them tell you what is the good, the bad, the ugly, right? Okay, but now let's talk about what is not ugly. $60,982? I mean, family, it's not reporting out what the average market value is of 2020 with those miles on it, right? But $60,000, that's the lowest 2020 I've ever seen. And I think what we got to talk about here is, we got the high miles. That is what it is. We don't know what the condition is bumper to bumper, but $200 Lexus is going to tell us that, right? What we do know is we got 0 accidents and a 1 previous owner. Still check your Carfax just to see how they've maintained this vehicle. But guys, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm liking this one, and I'm sorry, that's the other piece of it. I mean, it's almost like the crown is that this is a performance package or a dynamic handling package, right? So you're going to get the rear steering. Obviously, you get every option that's available on this vehicle, every single option, okay? And I mean, it's a beautiful color, right? I mean, I'm loving this color too, right? It's all blacked out, but then you got that beautiful pop of the toasted caramel interior. So, family, this one's in Austin, Texas, 2020, lowest price 2020 I've ever seen. And it's not being driven by some salvage title or some, 2-3 accidents, right? So if you're in the market for a 2020 and you have a budget of $60,000, definitely do your due diligence. But family, I think this is a tremendous opportunity for someone looking to get into a 2020 that's got, when we've been talking about some of those upgrades from the dealership, from the manufacturer from 18 to 20, on the suspension, on the steering, all of that good stuff, guys, you get those extra 2 years of upgrades from the manufacturer at a price that is, it's impeccable. Okay. All right, family, let's take a look at this 2021, right? Because this is another amazing story to tell, right? Let's take a look at it, right? This one's going to obviously, could be Caviar. I'd have to double check, right? Because they offered the Caviar, they offered 2 blacks in 2021, but more than likely this is probably going to be the 2021 black. But family, I mean, we got tinted windows on this one as well. Now this one's a little sneaky, right? It's a sports package, but it's got the touring package wheels on it. Okay. And again, I have to kind of do this because it's hard to tell, right? People could do one or two things. This one's either a sports package, and because I see the sports seats with the Alcantara on the interior, let me jump over there real quick, right? So we got the sports seats in here. So either somebody bought a touring package and added the seats on the front, let's look, and the back, yeah, which, let's face it, I mean, that's about a $2,000 parts just if you buy it aftermarket, right? $2,000 I'm seeing on eBay. They're selling, interiors, or I should say just the inserts, right? So either somebody did that, or they ended up they sold their 21s, they put custom wheels on here. Maybe they didn't like the custom wheels and they put these 20s on there, or maybe when it came time to sell it, they sold the 20s and sold their custom wheels and bought these 20s. Which I ain't mad at all, because I like the 20-inch wheel option too, not as much as the 21. I'm just gonna be honest. But I love them when they're either chrome on a light color or they're black on a dark color, like this one right here. Real ghosted out. Okay. So I love that. Okay. So let's finish looking at the pictures here. Obviously, again, sports package. We've got our sports seats, the Alcantara on the inside. Everything looks to be really clean. I don't see, let me take a look at those seats. Got those Bridgestones on there. Man, those they almost look like they got some spacers on there. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just, because the 20s, 20 is going to give you a little bit more gap in between that wheel well and the 21s, right? So maybe that's what I'm looking at. But everything looks good, right? I don't see a lot of scratches right here. Obviously, it's a black car, so you're not going to be able to see scratches on a picture, right? You're going to have to inspect that in person. But I mean, it looks really nice and shiny right here in this area, which is always a good indicator from visual pictures. Let's take a look at the deets real quick on this guy. So 38,000 miles on a 21, a little bit over average, right? If you're considering 10,000 miles a year average. If you're doing 12,000 miles, then this one's obviously, in that average area for you, okay? But we've got this one with a clean title, 0 accidents, 2 previous owners. Again, nothing scary about 2 previous owners on an LC500 at all. But now let's talk about this amazing price point. So $67,998. Family, this thing has been, at the dealership for 11 days, on Car Gurus for 41 days. Let's see what was the deal here. So started out at the beginning of the month. Well, now we're into May, so at the beginning of April at 73,000, which, listen, that's more of the price point that we're looking at here, right? I think the one thing that's probably giving way to this vehicle is a little bit higher mileage, but this ain't like, come on, this ain't like 50, this ain't above 50,000 miles, okay? I think we're good to go on this one. Hey, the other cool thing too is that if you can look at the service records and confirm that they did the 30,000 mile service interval on this one at the Lexus dealership, that's even better, because we know that's about $1,000 right there, okay? All right. Either way, I mean, this thing is showing right now at $1,900 below market value, right? It's the first time that we've seen a 2021 hardtop at a 67,000 price point this year. We saw 1 or 2 get down to that price point in the second half of last year. One was a private owner, and as a matter of fact, I think both were private owners, right? So I remember talking to one of the individuals, and the only reason that they pushed their price down that low is because they really wanted to move it, right? But I think this is a tremendous opportunity, best one of the year. So if you're looking for a 21, remember, this is a sports package. Don't let those touring package wheels throw you. Guys, I think this one's beautifully specced out, right? It's definitely got that Knight Rider flair to it. Yeah, at $67,998, I'd still go in. Who are we talking to up here? It looks like a Mazda dealership. No, Hyundai. Sorry, I said Hyundai earlier. Yeah, I'd still go in, guys, and see if we can't wheel and deal, right? If we get this thing at that 66 flat, right? I think that's even better, right? It's only been at their dealership for a little bit, but they've dropped the prices, and that's the thing that you want. That's the reason why I always look at these price drops, right? When you can look at this right here at this dealership, guys, they're motivated. They want to move this bad boy. So I think if you're interested, jump in there, be very competitive, be nice about it, right? Be diplomatic, but see what you can't do to get that price down even further, because I think, if the right person came in with the right price, right attitude, you speak to the right person, man, you could probably pull this thing away for 66 grand, and have a nice ride back home. Okay. All right, guys. And last but not least, man, gosh, I haven't actually had the opportunity to do a review on one of these amazing, inspiration series for 2024, right? The Ultimate Edition. So this one's on the market right now, and I had to share it with you just in case we got some folks out there who are in a different tax bracket, right? And you're looking for something, want to make sure you have awareness on this one. And what I love about this one too is that, this is obviously no, it doesn't obviously. Yeah, I'm gonna check my price point, my MSRP on this one, and I'm gonna drop it back in the chat. But I think this one's coming right in at MSRP. If you guys recall, there was a price bump on the Inspiration or the Ultimate Edition for 2024, especially for the convertible. So you got a price bump already built in. I think this one might be at MSRP or darn near to it. Okay, what is not is it's not like some of the 2021 Inspiration series convertibles that we see that are being sold for as much as $200,000, right? So let's take a look at this one. Obviously, we got the Polar Surge Satin exterior on this one, a first, at least for the LC500, not for Lexus, which is nice because they've done this on the GSF. I can't remember if they did it on the ISF, but they definitely did it on the GSF, which is always nice to know when it's not their first time doing something like this. It's just the first time they've done it in this light color and the first time they've done it on the LC500, right? Got that deep blue interior. This one is the convertible, right? Again, what I love about this one is similar to that 2018 we saw. This one's got that dark chrome and blacked out appearance to it. Same thing for the headlights, right? Which, I mean, they just stand out, right? They give a different look. You got these canards on the front that are built in. You got the 21-inch wheels here, 5 spokes. You got the backs that have also been blacked out right here. Again, these are dark chrome OEM from the factory. Dark chrome down here for the exhaust tips instead of the traditional brighter chrome, right? And then, of course, there it is right there, you know. Gosh, I mean, it's beautiful. Again, you know, nothing negative to say about this car. I think this is, when we talk about the collection aspect of it, this is absolutely going to be a conversation in the collectability piece of it. You know, I see the weather, all weather mats down there. Man, I'm asking them to throw in the carpeted ones, and so you can interchange those where necessary, right? Don't anticipate, unless somebody's going to get this thing and just really drive it and enjoy it, don't anticipate this thing seeing that much rain or wet conditions. So I would love to have the carpet on there, right? But this thing is absolutely beautiful. Now let's talk about the deets, which really not a lot to talk about here, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure this thing's going to have 0 miles, right? So they're not giving us the mileage on it. But they also, if I'm not mistaken, this is certified pre-owned. So it is used based upon this certified pre-owned condition. Keep in mind, guys, the certified pre-owned condition, let's talk about how it's going to apply to a car like this. That's a 2024, right? You're going to get your manufacturer warranty on this bad boy already, right? So you're going to get that. That's already baked into it. And then where the certification is going to add to it is it's going to +2. Okay, so you'll get an additional 2 years of the warranty on there. Now, you won't get it, but if the person who bought this brand new was already going to get their first maintenance interval covered, but you're now going to get your next 4 maintenance intervals covered for the next 2,000 miles. Okay, you're also going to get all the good stuff, with all the subscriptions and all that good stuff. That's going to already be there. 0 accidents, obviously. This one's been 85 days on Car Gurus and 25 days at a dealership. I mean, let's face it, this one absolutely has the potential to talk negotiations, but with a bit of a caveat, right? This one's extremely exclusive. It is a high-priced LC500, right? So let's face it, not everybody's got $122,846 to drop on their dream car, but for those who do, guys, they're not worried about a few $1,000 or a few $100, right? They want what they want, and they're gonna pay for it if they see it. So that's your competition, right? This one's been on the market for a while, clearly, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a good value or a good deal. It could mean that it just hadn't got the awareness, because heck, I haven't seen it until this week. Okay. But hey, if you're in the market for a 2024, this one's in Pennsylvania. Okay, Allentown, Pennsylvania. So definitely give the folks a call out there if you're interested in this one. And if anybody buys it on the channel, please do send us a comment so we can celebrate with you. Fam, that is our episode for the week. I will have all the details of what we discussed tonight in the comments. You guys have a beautiful weekend. Godspeed.